I know. You made it well aware to me at like the first like few sessions. I know. Don't worry. The doors open up, and you guys agreed with a grand hall. It is something of a ballroom style, room with wings going to the left and the right. On top of these wings are some not catwalks. Well, I guess it's catwalk. Balconies, lofts. I don't know. Stairway to such is in the middle, dead center, across opposite from you guys in this central room. There are ways you see on the bottom floor to go to other places, but those are blocked off by guards. There are other rooms up top in the upper wings, but you don't have the best vantage of them as of right now. And perhaps it's because you guys are a noted group attending today, or perhaps it's because you guys, compared to the rest of the room, say for 1-2 groups,
too fancy.
No, you're not too fancy. You stand out. Consider the people you have in your rank. Right?
Yeah, the cool people.
Mm-hmm.
The armed people.
Yeah.
Well,
not
armed
human
not
people.
Not human people, yeah.
You're not the only people armed in this room, but we'll get to that shortly. As you guys have the doors opened up to you by your expeditionary superiors, as they hurl you to the walls as distraction so they don't have to deal with it.
Smart.
The room, the conversation, the cocktail talk of the room continues, but it does die down a little bit. And you guys can tell, I know roles required, passive perceptions being what they are. You guys have people that look directly at you, some people steal glances at you, stuff like that. It doesn't feel like you guys have been chucked to the wolves, but it certainly does feel like you guys did walk into a series of, unlocked cages wearing meat around your necks, No, this isn't so fancy that there's a herald to declare your presence in there, and honestly, the opening of the doors is enough of an announcement in and of themselves. You guys go on in, and the doors are closed behind you as your expeditionary superiors follow in right behind you.
If Sandra happens to make eye contact with someone, she just dips her head a little bit, just like, hello, hi, how's it going? Kind of thing.
No one makes direct eye contact with you. They sort of just behold your group in general. Now, this is where we will take a step back of things, as I describe to you guys how this evening goes.
Yay for gameplay mechanics.
Indeed. I know, I'm well aware that 90% of it's darked out. I'm well aware. Don't at me.
Oh.
You guys tonight have a lot of numbers underneath those names of yours for a number of factions as well as independent nobles. Now, not everyone in this building tonight is a noble. In fact, probably not even a majority of them are actual nobles. In terms of like factions and stuff like that, then it's like, I don't know, it's getting close. But
they're all important in some way.
They're either important or they're serving important people. So, going with that, there are four categories of factions in this room as of right now. There's Royal faction, which there's only one thing in the Royal faction, and that is Royal Governor Desmond and his Royal Guard. There's not really much you can do for that. He is... Consider him the arbitrator of this political game you're now a part of. There are members of the Colonial Company, the ones that dictate and sponsor and fund your force. Again, these are the people that Lena is beholden to. So again, piss them off, and then they start making it difficult for you in specific in the Expeditionary Force, or the force in general, because you guys are sort of representing your entire force by how you act. As well as Lena and Ian, but, you guys are second waivers. They're first waivers. And Varric, too, I guess, is the first favorite, but he's some weird middle ground. We don't talk about him. He's a freak. Here as well are a number of noble factions. There are only so many nobles in Driftweaver's Bay. Not many noble families ditch their houses and holdings in the old world to come to the new world. Apparently, plenty do in a weird capacity. So that's factions 1, 2, and 3 categories. There's also 3.5, 4. These are independent nobles that belong to no noble faction. They're just sort of here as their own little... They're here for themselves. They stand with themselves, they work for themselves. They don't have a group that they belong to. So 3.5. Kingdom Heart 3.5 Final Remix. That sort of deal. Don't worry if you don't get that, because Kingdom Hearts is stupid.
365 over 2 days.
It's fucking stupid.
Wait, no, it was a stupid number, wasn't it? They had some
I don't fucking know. So yeah, you guys all, over the course of the evening, I will unlock as you go through and meet each group. I will show you parts of this sheet here. The sheet will not be present for the entirety of the session or the evening or whatever. I will give you glimpses of it here and there, every now and then. You do well with someone, you don't know immediately that it's had an effect. And also, there are starting values, and you guys, it is not equal at all. Some of you have a lot more negatives than some others of you, and vice versa, some of you are much more positive. And that these numbers are for each faction's interpretation of you specifically. Some are good, some are bad, some are neutral. So yeah. That's how this game starts. And as I said, you guys, again, don't feel like you've been chucked into a pit of wolves and snakes, but you're walking through a carnivorous zoo with meat around your necks. And I don't think any of you are particularly familiar with this political game, so it is a bit, I won't say overwhelming. That's up to you if you decide what's overwhelming for your character, but it's definitely bracing. Makes you feel tense. And, you know, this is not Lena or Ian's first soiree, literally or figuratively. And they sort of begin immediately going to specific people and sort of shooting the shits, parlaying, entertaining, stuff like that. And you guys are just sort of left at the front entrance, sort of just to wonder what to do next. But before you guys even have a chance to decide as a group or individually what to do, someone does come up to you. Not a noble or a colonial person. You can tell who is and isn't a guard pretty damn clearly, because guards are decked out in armor and, you know, they're allowed to carry weapons and stuff like that. Guy wearing half plate comes up to you. Can't see his face. He's covered up by some chain, or with a chain mask and a hood. Your presence is requested. And he gestures off to one of the corners of the room, where you see a nobleman sitting there, surrounded by his house guard.
How many guards does he have?
Unincluding this one, which you could tell is from it because similar uniforms, a dozen.
Ooh, okay, he is.
Alright, I'll start heading over.
I accompany such.
I'm assuming you all go over.
Yes.
There it is.
I assume you guys all accompany, like, stay as a group until, like, you tell me otherwise, because I'll just make these go faster. So, you guys all head over, and then the man doesn't look terribly old, probably mid-late 40s. Actually, I'm trying to think. How old would he be?
300 years old.
No, yeah, he would be old. He'd be like 70. No, think about it. Yeah, he's old. He is very old. 70 with that sort of old man passion, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he has that sort of jubilance to him, which only comes from age, and you stop giving a fuck as you age. That sort of, you know, old man jubilance.
Nice.
Yeah, I know these people in real life are great. And some are assholes. Moving on, though. He just smiles. he has himself no hair. He's completely bald by choice or by genetics. You don't know, but he does have a relatively kept beard. Goes out about an inch, and he just smiles as you guys all approach, and then he just gestures to the seat across from him. There's only one seat, and he's at some sort of game table. He occupies one seat, and whichever opponent goes against him gets the other seat, and there's the bit in the middle, the table in the middle, hold the game's pieces. He gestures to the seat, clear that there's only one seat, and not just one of you. All of you.
Yes.
What kind of game is it?
It is Karem's Gambit. Which is Karem's Gambit it's a tactician's game in which the forces you start with are randomly determined. So there have been matches where one side just gets fucked and starts with like little to nothing, and the other side starts with a bunch. And it's the very famous matches where the person with nothing still wins.
Cool.
There's an arbitrator there as well, one of his guardsmen. That is how the game works. It's a war game.
I volunteer minis as tribute.
Why me?
Because it's a card game. You'd probably be fine at that.
It's not a card game.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's like advanced chess.
Who's good at
Oh,
chess?
it's entertaining games.
Oh, come on now! I don't bite! Sit! It's not one of you!
So I'm just gonna sit in the
While playing, as you sit down, he's like, there is cards involved. That's how you like sort of determine which forces are available and stuff like that. And then you sort of roll to determine. Again, it's like a lot of different gambling and games put into a tactical game. It's like
many
D&D.
layers.
This game, it's more like whatever war game D&D is based off of. I forget what it's called. Don't worry.
Sorry.
Don't worry. I'm playing with, and he's like, shuffling cards. A more fair rule set. Things are much more contained. He just fans out the cards for you to take. I don't know. Has Sandra ever played Karem's Gambit? It is very much a nobles game because it takes a lot of either influence or money or access to get to play it often and to have all the pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like
I feel she's played like, aka the poor man's version kind of thing, where like they
So
kind of
chess.
make pieces. Yeah, kind of, but like apply some of the rules occasionally. It's something she would have played a bit in the past, like when she's bored at a bar or something.
Minis probably would actually know how to play this.
Yeah,
It's a tactician's game.
He knows noble.
Well, just because you know nobles doesn't mean you played it. Like, there's plenty of people in the capital that have never played this game. Again, it's a ritzy game. Like, it takes an arbitrator to finish out a game, to actually do a game. And, you know, poor people, random people, don't have an arbitrator that they just can summon up to arbitrate the game in a fair capacity. Now, drunk friend at the bar, you know, that makes you win, you know, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But, like, an actual fair game is a different thing.
typically it's just a very casual game for her.
Or, you know, everyone just plays chess, which is much... You don't need an arbitrator and the rules are set. Go on, take one.
She does.
Roll me D100.
I can't see
Lower is
anything.
better.
What I get? Nah, that's not low at all.
That may be, but let's see what he gets.
7. 77.
Yeah, lots of sevens. Anyone that's played... It's up to you to determine if your character knows how Karem's Gambit works or has played it and stuff like that. Again, it is a ritzy game. Neither of you have a good start. You have forces that don't operate well together. Their actual rules as to geography and stuff like that. You are fighting in a marshland, apparently.
Interesting.
Well, this is going about as splendidly as I was expecting.
You're expecting a very poor start.
You always expect a poor start. I was afraid I would just have like just one lone hero against an entire army.
many of the fancy stories in the past were just a single hero versus impossible odds. So that
No one wins against an army, my dear. No one. Not one that knows what they're doing, at least.
Fair enough.
Let's see. So in the background, you and him are playing.
Yeah.
Ah, where are my manners? And he gestures a hand across to you, but he gives you his hand, but he looks at the group. I am Lord Russell Jundus. Pleasure.
She takes the hand and like shakes it as a noble would, I guess. I don't know if there's a specific rule for that one. I go by.
Don't be like a limp fish.
Yeah. She shakes his hand.
So it's like in real life. Don't shake your hands like you're a damn limp fish, okay? That's fucking weak. Some weak shit.
And this is the rest of my group. They're the Vanguard Expeditionaries.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'm well aware. Everyone in this room is well aware, which is why I just had to poach you guys up before they got their teeth into you.
Right, but I still desire to be polite.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Your move, by the way.
Well met, Lord Jundus. I am Tanum.
Tanum. Let me see if my little runners have it correct. Sandra Tanum. Aminius. Wise. Russian. Varric. Abigail. Abigail does like a flourish. And Atker, was it? Acker taps you. I mean, he knows. Is he like you?
Hey.
No, it maybe somewhat.
That's a good response. Yes, I am well aware of who all you are. Again, everyone in this room is. Everyone. And you do have my most he claps his hands here, sincere apologies for whatever this evening throws at you.
You
Damn,
should be
it sounds
entertained
so
no matter what.
ominous.
Every political game should be ominous, lad. Because that's the beauty of politics, is that you don't ever truly know what the other people have up their sleeve. Luckily, we're all humans, and there's no elven nobles in here. I'm pretty sure they would probably get kicked out.
Luckily,
It's like
I
bringing a
got big
grandmaster in Krem's Gambit to play against a child, it's just unfair. And with that, he makes a move in Krem's Gambit, pushing some forces forward into the marsh. Small contingent. A cohort, as Legion's put it.
I, as Garth, don't know how to play war games, so I don't know how to describe her if she or her moves.
I'll basically just tell you, just make a roll at some point.
Sure. And I'm not gonna.
This is like me, telling you guys, in the case of Wise and Kirsty, flirt with the guy. Do I actually try to flirt with them, or do I try to just roll for it? A little bit of both. If you can supplement one with the other. So in the case of, oh yeah, he got that nat 1 once when you guys were going over to last him, but then he spun that around 100% through roleplay alone. Again, one supplements the other.
That certainly helped my sorry excuse for flirting, so it's all good.
You put the effort.
Listen, we're all fucking nerds here, alright? It's okay.
Speak for yourself.
So I might ask what brings you over to this section of the world.
The winning question. And I'd be careful asking that to every noble in here, by the way. Use your conspiratorial wink. Some of them won't be so willing to talk about it. But I have not much to hide. I'm out here because this realm is absolutely untouched by proper civilization. Which is to say, people that could survey and explore and, he gestures to all you, go on expeditions. I'm a remnologist, if you guys have heard of it.
I have.
I might have heard of it one time. Entails.
Well, let me give you the abstract of the science.
I would love to know.
Long ago, there was a race of very mystical, very powerful... Now, mystical, powerful creatures don't just disappear and just go away. There are ruins left. Remnants, and he does this with air quotes. That's the name of the science. It's a form of archaeology, a very specialized form of archaeology. Doubly so because their defenses are still active. Triply so because the items that are left behind here are very peculiar but powerful.
I have heard there are ruins to the north beyond the forest.
Really?
Yes, as a jeweler, my interest in rhymnology is peripheral, but nonetheless genuine.
I don't think I've come across any jewelry of that prior race. Chests, I have. Fancy chests, indeed. But not jewelry. But if you all decide to go that way and go inside and explore it, I would be very interested in hearing what you find.
Usually
If you'd be
official
so courteous.
expedition.
You can go with that.
At the very least, a learned mind is always a welcome reflection.
Indeed.
I've spent much of my life being just so if you have any questions or any queries or any need of identification or think-tanking, we'll say, my door is open to you.
Sounds like you're providing a lot of possibilities for us.
Tanner would bow, do a little bow at that.
He makes another move in Karam's Gambit.
So it sounds like
Now-
you're offering us a fair amount.
Yes.
There's something.
That is normally how it sounds, yes.
And you're just requesting in return that we inform you if we come across something odd and old.
I mean, I prefer if you give it to me or sell it to me or something of the sort, but yes.
Simply.
You guys are the Vanguard team. You meaning the places you go, you are likely to be the first ones to come across it in proper, full detail, not some cursory scout reports. I'm sure your fine commander would have scouts notice a remnant spot, and then they would do the very clever thing of not going in and report it back. And then you get sent in. You see how this goes. As Vanguard team, you all play a very important role. Of course, you also play a very dangerous role, which is why I'm sure some nobles and colonial company members here are, I wouldn't say betting, but pondering the idea of your guys' eventual perishing. Don't blame them for it. It is just a calculation.
It's to be expected. It's not exactly a safe living.
Exactly.
Is he wearing any jewelry?
He is. He's wearing a ring on every finger.
Oh,
He's the
dead.
Mandarin.
Any of them look familiar, design-wise?
A couple. That of your rival.
Shit.
But his rings don't have much, how to say, uniformity of theme to them, if that makes sense. Like, they're entirely different craftsman styles amongst them. The only theme across them is that they mirror one another in color. So pinky to pinky will be one color, ring finger to ring finger will be another color, so on and so forth. That's about it. So there's 4 colors across his hands. Your move, by the way, my dear. Your move. Take your time, of course. That being said, don't dawdle with me too long. Everyone else will start getting suspicious.
Yeah, baby. Do you just want me to roll a D100 or something?
No, this is a matter of intelligence, my friend.
Oh, cool. I have +0 intelligence.
oh my god.
We're doomed.
Hey, that's why I said Aminius should go, but no. Oh, he has advantage. Makes or no? What?
He's handicapped. He's playing handicap.
Okay.
I guess it'd be higher than that because Yeah, you lose. Or you detect that you're on your way to losing.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, you attacked the cohort he left in the marshland, which allowed him to ambush you. It's a shame. You won the skirmish, but you lost the battle. It's a shame.
Rip.
Now, of course, you might be able to spin this around at a later point, but again, you shouldn't all dawdle with me.
Fair enough.
That being said, I could, on your guys' way out, as I am about to put in the final nail in your Vanguard's coffin. You guys have any questions for me about the people in this room tonight? I have a lot of runners, and they all hear various things.
I'm not even sure quite what to ask.
Who's more interested in us individually?
Individually? What do you mean?
Like, everyone here is interested in our group for some particular reason, but which ones are interested in us as personally?
Everyone's interested in use people.
Hmm.
If anything, they don't. I don't think any faction here tonight actually wants all of you. Save for maybe your expeditionary force faction company.
But I believe they'd be a bit biased.
Exactly. It's not fair to keep them in the running. So, again, they all want you as individuals.
Anybody else?
Huh. Who's the most dangerous person in?
Depends on your definition of dangerous, most likely.
Indeed. I suppose in a certain capacity, you are, as well as your fellow expeditionaries over there. In another capacity, perhaps it's me, for knowledge on Remnology. Perhaps it's the Hunters Club upstairs. I don't know. It depends on what you
Who
think.
scares you the most?
No one here scares me, truly.
Good to know.
There's a reason I don't stand with them, because me playing with them would be too much of an advantage. That's why I'm here playing at a handicap.
Hey,
Very
question.
You've been around long enough.
Yes.
Having watched this whole thing, is there any error he made while playing?
Ari, while playing?
Mm-hmm.
Roll me your intelligence. You have to beat a 9.
Argue with them.
You have to beat a 9, so like it's not that hard. He's made a couple. Some you're not sure are feints, like to get you to move, to get the opponent to move into a certain position, or if they're like actual blunders.
Are there any that, if it was a feint, would have just been terrible?
Yes, there are like a couple.
I would point one of those out to him.
Interesting.
He has put a line of riflemen at the edge of the swamp, which is, it's good. Running through the swamp would slow down any attacking forces. But at the same time, though, they have nowhere to run.
Andy's giving his enemies too much cover.
Mm-hmm. And he's also not likely, as much as he is going to have the cohort distraction, he would be shooting through his own people, which is living cover for any attacking force. You pointed out to him?
Absolutely.
How do you go about... Well, I don't know. Just tell me as Roshan. How do you point out to him?
Looking at the board, like, doesn't see much of an advantage to putting your soldiers in harm's way like that.
His jovial smile widens. Oh, well. It's just one of those nights, I suppose. Good observation, though. He says, looking at the pieces you're pointing out. Good observation.
You must not care too much about people.
I care very greatly about people, lad. Just some more than others.
It's resource management.
Exactly.
Fair enough.
Nevertheless.
I was admiring your jewelry, your rings. I noticed that there are a select few pieces that are made by Al Salaf. How is she these days?
He tilts his head. He looks at the rings, his rings collectively. His smile dims. I am so very terribly sorry. I don't know who that is. These rings are gifts. I don't ever purchase things myself. But they are nice looking, though.
Yes, one of the best designers in certain areas of the exchange. Her name is Khalil.
Areas.
Yes, only certain areas. The ones I'm not in.
My confidence serves you well as a Vanguard expeditionary. And you're so brave as to even look into remnants for inspiration. Serves you well indeed. What was that name again?
Khalil Al Salaf.
That's a bit of a mouthful.
He looks at one of his house guards, and the guy pulls out like indicate. Like, he just like looks at you like pointedly, like, can you spell it? He's like he just taps the paper he has, the pad.
Yeah, I read it out.
Done a lot of business in exchange. Can never stand the heat. Thank you, though.
Yes, perhaps my father was a jeweler before me. He still is. Have
And
you
his
heard of the
name?
name Zahiri? Hanzor Zahiri.
He taps his chin. Now that does ring a bell, but I'm sure
Married-
someone has named it to me, and I
he's
nodded
ma-
my head politely.
I understand. He is married to Laughing Daria, if that rings a bell. Infamous. Mercenary.
That is much more.
Ooh.
They're married, really.
Yes.
An interesting match. But then he looks at you. It all makes sense, I suppose.
Indeed.
One of the house guards like whispers to him, like, yes. Shocking revelation, truly. He looks at the paper that the guy was writing on. I'm assuming I should not go to a competitor of yours if I wanted things like this. If I ever were to, which is a very doubtful circumstance.
You are free to do as you wish. You are your own man.
Tandem is a capitalist. Confirmed.
If they have the best jewelry available, then I simply have to up my game.
They want for very long.
Well, you could certainly call yourself if you're that good, you could certainly claim a monopoly in this edge of the world.
Perhaps in time, if I survive this Vanguard business. This had been in my mind, yes.
Hard first step.
It's already working out to some extent. Sandra says, like, playing with the little pin that he gave us.
At some point, every man should think about retirement. And woman.
Everyone is free to do as they like.
By the way, does he
No.
have like a... Oh, wait, no, he has rings on his hands. Do any of them look like wedding rings?
No.
No. Okay.
Now, go on. Again. Don't stay here too long and everyone else start getting suspicious, but stay with me just long enough, they'll just begin
Envious.
wondering. They'll begin wondering what we're talking about today. Bye-bye.
Sandra
Was
bows
kicking
a
us
bit
out.
and takes her leave.
It was nice to meet you.
Pleasure.
I'm gonna go see what fancy champagne they have on the snack table.
Me
As you
too.
guys
I shall join you.
As you guys go to decide to raid the buffet table, Varric does remark as you guys are leaving. good thing he's a kind lord, considering how none of you addressed him as such when you left.
Flintstones run to the punch table.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
You can tell that Varric is like eyeing certain groups. This is not Varric's first time in a noble setting, although it's probably his first time
In a while.
being the center of the attention in one. Yeah, some of these people won't take so kindly to rude departures. So just be on your toes.
Say, my lord, as he left. Did Varric say it?
He did. Him and Abigail.
Kind of a dick move not to lead the way on that one.
You guys sort of wanted to immediately go to the punch tables. And he says he's eyeing a minion who's pouring punch for himself.
Oh, yeah.
So,
He was suggesting we take our leave. I was admiring his suggestion.
I didn't want to keep him past, our welcome. I didn't want to wear my welcome out with him.
Besides, how do you even, do that? Do you have to, curtsy or some shit?
Hard to
yeah,
do
you
in
curtsy
those
like
shoes,
this.
isn't it?
And Abigail does a curtsy.
That is usually how it goes, yes.
Ugh.
Excuse me.
Yes.
So is the Mems. See one of the house guardsmen come up to you guys. Well, no, from the same group. I think one of you guys dropped this. He's holding a piece of paper.
Shanja grabs it. Because she was sitting at the table, she'd be the most likely to drop something.
Yeah.
What's it?
Thank you so very much. I can't believe we misplaced it. Thank you so much. Give our thanks to Lord Dentist, of course.
How irresponsible of me to leave this.
She nudges you, Sandra, over the elbow. To say,
You don't have to
That's
fucking
not-
elbow me!
that's not from us.
Really, I never would have fucking guessed it.
So what does it
Open it.
say?
Open it! I'll just, peek over the shoulder.
The more people are interested, the less likely she is to open it. No, she opens it.
Wow. You bitch.
She flips it open and sees what it says.
You see that?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
This is a list of the factions and the independents in the room.
Lord have mercy.
That is a long list. 53 perfections, okay. Jesus.
They all have their own bits going for them. I don't think it takes a genius to realize that each faction has an agenda that they all conglomerate around. Or lack of faction, or agenda, I suppose. For the case of some of them.
Actair Assembly? What the fuck is that even?
What?
Actair,
Actair.
my lovely wood elven friend, means magic in Nevros.
Like, while reading the note, she just flicks Abigail on the nose.
She gets flick. Ow! It's supposed to be a boop, not a flick.
No, he does the boobs because it's cute. I do the flick because you're being sassy.
She does like a frown at Varric, and he just boops her. There.
I'm gonna throw up.
That was too cute. I don't like that. I'm gonna join the Menius in the bar.
You just don't like it because you could see him without his helmet for once.
I'm not gonna lie, it's
Did
kind
he
of weird.
smile?
He gets a grimace. I would like my helmet back, honestly. Well, too bad. I hit it. What? I hit it! To make sure you wouldn't try to find it and, put it on before I got here.
Oh, that's too
Where?
good.
I'm not gonna tell you.
She hit it for a reason.
It's not
Why
like,
would you
You're
wear
gonna
a
have to earn
helmet?
to get the.
it's not like I could fucking leave right now, Sandra.
I mean, you could. It's just be
Language.
exceptionally rude.
Because then I'd look like one of those house guardsmen. And then I'd deal with shit.
Can't have that.
Atger is grabbing a whole leg of turkey.
Did we stop him?
Oh.
Remind him not to overindulge.
Yeah, didn't that big long list that we got
Said something
say
about.
that eating tons was bad?
Hey.
I don't know. I tried to memorize
It's relative.
it.
He's very, very big, you know.
He does have the big metabolism.